Hello and welcome back as we finally enter game number 2 for the Battle of Central Europe Season 3, sponsored of course by the awesome Hitbox, SteelSeries, eBattle, Vinotech, GhostOfGamers.net, esportsbets.com and dailydota2.com. I do hope I got them all listed, but even if not, even if those I didn't mention, they're still appreciated, although I think I got them all anyway. But we're here, we're HeflaTV, Power Rangers versus mYinsanity 2-game series coming up, or well, it's game number 2 of this series already. I am Coucher, and once again, I am joined by GrindSV. Do you think game number 2 is gonna be any different?
Well, I think that mYinsanity have taken a pretty good measure to make sure that it isn't the same as game number 1. They banned out Saniko's Wisp, which was honestly ridiculous in game number 1. 10-0 and 10, he had more hero kills than he had creep kills. He played completely out of his mind. Positioning was always on point and brought everybody where they need to be inside the team fights. And just the sustained combination from Power Rangers was absurd. They were able to double the mechanism heal with the tether, and with the maxed out voodoo restoration, nobody died on their team. In the end, they just overwhelmed mYinsanity. Power Rangers this game are going to start things off with a Razor, although Death Prophet's available in the pool, and mYinsanity will start out with the Slark Ancient Apparition.
It's so surprising that the Death Prophet hasn't been touched with the first 3 picks. I was so sure that Power Rangers are gonna first pick it, or at least. I know that most teams would jump at the just chance to go for it, but no, Power Rangers going for the Legion Commander. And mYinsanity, of course, being banning out the IO made perfect sense because Power Rangers are just that cool with the hero. But Ember Spirit also has a ban. I guess Flame Guard is pretty nice against Ancient Apparition, so mYinsanity, they must have had the first pick just thought out beforehand already, no matter what Power Rangers went for. But if Death Prophet doesn't get banned in the second phase now, I don't know, just my world will be turned upside down.
With Power Rangers, their lanes would get a little bit crowded if they went for a Death Prophet, but especially if they don't ban it out, it would be incredibly weird to see. As that hero is just so strong, being able to transition those pickoffs that you'd get with like a Leech Commander or a Slark Ancient Apparition combination into tower pushes is ridiculous, and then you have just the raw damage coming out from her ultimate, which is very hard to overcome. If she pops Exorcism and you're not in a great position to take the fight or burst her down immediately, you pretty much just have to run.
I do believe Power Rangers, the 2 games yesterday, they played the Legion Commander. I think both of them was played in the off lane, unless I'm completely mistaken. One Legion Commander even had to go into the jungle just because the off lane was so damn bad. But we'll see how it works out for them this time around. They do ban out the center, whereas Sky of Mage was taken out by mYinsanity. So we might see the Death Prophet now coming out instead. mYinsanity could easily go for it. And no banning out the Tidehunter so far. So we'll see. I mean, every now and then, of course, there are drafts that those so-called just imbalanced heroes, just first pick material heroes, completely get ignored. Just because teams, they want to surprise the other ones. If you go for the Death Prophet, it's not like the hero is 100% win or anything. So maybe the surprise factor is worth even more.
I suppose so, and if they didn't pick it up in the first 2 picks, they might as well just ignore it now. Another top-tier pick that has been ignored, or rather 2, no, just 1. It's the Ogre Magi that comes immediately to mind and would be a solid support for either side. Bloodlusted Legion Commander, Razor, and Slark are all incredibly scary, and just the damage as well as lockdown that it would offer would be really nice for either side to snag up. But maybe mYinsanity have something else in mind. But yeah, other than that, honestly, I'm not sure where they want to go with it. Ancient Apparition plus Ogre Magi is a pretty solid combo, even though Ogre doesn't have the range. He has plenty of staying power, but mYinsanity instead will go for the Witch Doctor. We saw in game number 1 how effective that hero can be, especially with the Voodoo Restoration, but even with just the other spells, the Paralyzing Cask as well as the Death Ward do a lot of damage inside the team fight.
Well, the one thing that mYinsanity might be lacking at the moment is just ways to make sure that Legion Commander does not win the duel. I mean, you can just Ice Blast and Death Ward and try to, or hope to kill the Legion Commander before and just win the duel for yourself maybe, but they have no defensive capabilities. Voodoo Restoration maybe, although I highly doubt it's going to be enough if that one hero actually gets focused completely. So that's one thing that they may be lacking with the supports they went for, but Power Rangers, it's not like they had the craziest amount of bursts. Scarlet Mage of course panned out, so no dual Mystic Flare combinations. I guess you can attempt to go for something like a support Zeus if you want to, maybe a core Zeus, but nope, Ogre Magi is there first. But if you get the multicast and Fire Blast, it should be plenty of burst as well.
For sure, there is some sort of argument as to how you should play the Ogre Magi and Legion Commander combination is when you do get the Fire Blast, if it just stuns, more often than not, that's going to hurt more than it helps because the Legion's not able to get the procs off of Moment of Courage from the enemy that she's attacking inside the duel. So it's kind of a toss-up whether or not you want to use it immediately. For mYinsanity, they'll pick up the Faceless Void, and I think this is pretty much a no-brainer for them. They would love to have that big AoE control spell to set up for Ancient Apparition as well as Witch Doctor's ultimates, and Faceless Void fits the bill, especially with Tidehunter off of the table.
It maybe would have been even worthy for Power Rangers to ban out the Faceless Void instead of the Centaur. Both can be extremely deadly, but together with the Ancient Apparition, of course. But, man, Faceless Void is also not the best target to really duel as a Legion Commander. Has the time lock, backtrack as well if need be, so he can actually survive that possibly. So Faceless Void is just good on many levels at the moment for this game. As Power Rangers now, they do need additional supports, but so far, going for a puck. An elusive hero, teamfight control, pretty great with the Dream Coil as well. Silence might be a key thing here if it does land it properly, but mYinsanity's teamfight or the combo just looks so scary at this point.
It really does, and even though usually when you have a Slark, you're angling more towards those pickoffs, and mYinsanity definitely can find those with a Slark and Ancient Apparition, I think they're going to be more looking towards those big team fights, whereas Power Rangers are looking for these single, find one hero, blow them up, and then get out engagements with the Legion Commander at the center of that. Eventually, they might be able to take some pretty large-scale engagements, once Legion gets some damage and gets off of the ground. As for the Razor and Puck, a pretty similar story once they get their levels in farm. But I think that's how the game is going to at least start out. As far as the next couple of picks, Power Rangers are down at support, and mYinsanity are presumably down at core. mYinsanity's next hero honestly could be pretty much whatever they want. If they want more damage inside the Chronosphere, an Invoker or Queen of Pain could work wonders for them. Mid up against the puck. Even a Templar Assassin wouldn't be awful, even though it wouldn't be able to do damage inside the Chronosphere. That might be another option for them. But yeah, as far as controlling heroes that are left in the pool, if they really want to go even larger into the team fight, a Magnus is available, and Power on Slark and Faceless Void could be pretty solid on top of that. I think they're just going to go with the Invoker, however.
I mean, all of the aforementioned heroes, they could work out for sure. Templar Assassin might be the one to could just survive the best against Legion, but it's not like it's all about the Legion Commander for Power Rangers mYinsanity. They don't have to be that afraid of it, and the Invoker would be a solid one. Just being able to input even more damage into the Chronosphere does allow for them to have some freedom as far as their combinations go. Otherwise, it's like you have to hit the Ice Blast, you have to have the Witch Doctor present. But you can be a little more flexible with just Faceless Void Invoker. The combinations you can just go around the map with and get pickoffs just increases. You can use like Ice Blast to get the kill with Slark on one lane and then use Faceless Void +1 for another lane, something like that.
And that definitely could work out for them. Let's see what Power Rangers are most scared. As for Power Rangers Hero, I don't think it matters as much. They're going to ban out the Magnus, feeling that's their choice. And Death Prophet going to show her beautiful face in this last pick of the draft. It's unlikely that you're ever going to see Death Prophet here again. More often than not, she's banned, but I don't know, somehow she slips her way into this game, and it's going to be a lot of physical damage inside the Chronosphere, but angling mYinsaniity away from those pickoffs and more into the team fight. Power Rangers, I'm not sure it really matters what they pick up as long as it's a nice range support. I kind of like the Rubik here, but Vengeful Spirit also has its merits to save people outside of the Chronosphere.
It wouldn't be a horrible pickup for sure, but man, Death Prophet, like you mentioned, you're not going to see that hero too often being as the 5th role. Power Rangers now, they need the support. All the best ones have been already banned pretty much, Dazzle included. Shadow Demon, although it might be nice defensively, I don't know if it would work out, but Power Rangers are going for the Enigma again. This time around, it should be a straight up jungle Enigma though. And, well, it might or might not get punished. mYinsanity, if they wanted to, they could go aggressive tri-lane with this as well now, especially knowing that there's only going to be 2 heroes on the lane. Although, up against Razor, maybe not the easiest thing to do, but Slark, if you connect with a Pounce, Chilling Touch, with Witch Doctor and Ancient Apparition being there, should be just easy kills. So do you think they should go aggressive or just play this safe, get the guaranteed farm, and just aim for the late game, or just maybe not late game, but mid game with the Chronosphere and all the ultimates?
mYinsanity have so many options. I mean, they're pretty strong at most portions of the game. I don't think they're going to actively try to stop Enigma's farm, however. I think it is just going to be focusing more on those mid-game team fights. But if the game does drag out, I think they have an advantage unless Legion Commander gets absolutely stacked, which could happen. But I think mYinsanity's lineup is just overall more well-rounded.
Even if this Legion gets stacked, if you get Ice Blasted, your Moment of Courage suddenly won't heal you or anything, and well, Milan can't open shop. So restarting Dota hopefully will fix this issue. And I don't know. I guess we can just introduce the lineups, as I don't think we're gonna have a remake or anything. At least I hope we're not. So for mYinsanity on the Radiant side, Hatawa will be playing the Witch Doctor, leaving Mitch on the Faceless Void, Lizard on the Ancient Apparition with Milan to play the Slark, and the last one will be Grisine on the Death Prophet.
And on the Dire side, we are going to have Power Rangers with Leech Commander being handled by Cheshire Cat, or Razor, is going to be played by Ditcherel, leaving our last core to be Puck, played by Shachlo, our supporting duo Suniko on the Ogre Magi, and J4 playing on the Enigma. It looks like we're in for a passive start from Power Rangers as well.
Well, with an Enigma, you can't really go too aggressive unless you really go like aggressive dual lane, kind of. Maybe not aggressive dual lane, but off lane dual lane like they did last time around with Enigma going into the enemy jungle, something along those lines. Oh, never mind, it was mid lane Enigma. I'm thinking about another game already. Should I was casting too many games? I think it was in the JDL Asia game I casted earlier today. I don't even know. But Slark has reconnected. Hasn't given the word go yet, so don't know if he can open the shop or not. But I don't think it's one of those issues. I mean, there used to be a bug, I'm not too sure, I haven't had it for quite some time. But where you won't get any gold, extra gold or something, or rather the game thinks you're disconnected and it will give all the gold to the teammates.
Yeah, that one is really weird. I haven't seen that one in quite a while. Hopefully it's been fixed, but I think this one's completely unrelated. Hopefully he's going to be able to open up his shop and we'll be able to continue without any further interruptions. As for the lanes for PR, it is going to be an offlane Leech Commander with a mid Puck. I'm not sure if I really like this way of playing. I mean, Leech Commander wouldn't have a great time up against the Death Prophet, but it would at least be able to get something out with the spam of overwhelming odds. The bottom lane shouldn't be a very happy place for it all. Just with the Chilling Touch Witch Doctor combination, you're going to have a lot of damage to put into Cheshire Cat, and he's going to be need to be incredibly careful and pretty much rely on finding those kills once he gets level 6 to catch back up into this game. I think I would have preferred to see the Puck go to the offlane.
Well, maybe they're like, if the Legion Commander goes mid lane, he's not gonna have the greatest of times. Although with the overwhelming odds, you should have been able to farm up anyway, so wouldn't have been that horrible. But I guess they want to just have the Puck, get the guaranteed early blink dagger, and start just setting the pace of the game, creating the openings. And Legion Commander, if he gets level 6 by the time Puck gets blink dagger, he might be able to just catch up from that. Might be like the reasoning behind what Power Rangers are doing. And Legion Commander, he can go into the jungle, whereas Puck, if the offlane is completely horrible for him, he can't very much do so.
Yeah, it's just up to their preference who they want to prioritize getting that level 6 and blink dagger faster. So it does have its merits. Currently, mYinsanity are looking for something in the jungle, and that something might be Suniko if he walks a little too far down. Looks like they're not going to be able to find anything. One Citrus War has been dropped out by mYinsanity to slow down Enigma's farm by quite a bit, although for only the first 3 minutes of the game. Just the one word is probably worth placing, although I think investing a little bit more is worthwhile. This should be good enough.
Looks like everybody's looking for some maybe destroyed trees or anything that would give away that the wards have been placed somewhere. And mYinsanity, aggressive trialing coming out, is a pretty scary one as well, especially up against only a dual lane Ogre Magi as a support. He cannot defend the Razor at all almost. One Fire Blast or Ignite is really all he can do, and that's really not a lot. So this dual lane might just be horrible for him, but of course that means that Cheshire Cat is gonna be solo up against the Death Prophet anyway in the end. So might be fine. Mid lane charge low, take some harassment out of the way. 153-1, Paralyzing Cask, not gonna bounce at all. Still some nice harassment, only has 2 shared tangos, so 60-second cooldown on them. But he's up against a Faceless Void. Do you think that they expected somebody else to be mid lane from Power Rangers, or did they really want to send Faceless Void against Puck?
I assume that they expected something else, but I mean, Faceless Void doesn't do the worst, especially at the early portion of the game with just the base damage that he's running with. With the Poor Man's Shield as well, he's able to mitigate the harass, but eventually his ability to push out this lane is going to be a lot less than the Puck, and that's probably going to give Shachlo a little bit of an edge. But for this first couple of waves, 5 and 3 compared to 1 and 0 on the Puck, just not having a very good time, Shachlo, mostly because of the limited regen that he has. Yeah, I don't expect Puck to die, but yeah, this is actually very peculiar how these lanes are working out. For mYinsanity, it seems that they're doing pretty well.
And J4, I mean, he already went into the enemy jungle, runs into Hatawa, but doesn't have the level 2, no Malphite yet, unfortunately. Otherwise, would have been easy first blood, I think. But there's Mod Golems, he cannot even create the Eidolons. He knew his own camp is blocked, at least some of them. But mYinsanity, they got a really nice observer ward down. Hatawar tries to go high ground again, J4 just waiting for him. But yes, this ward here, just brilliantly placed by mYinsanity, giving them rune vision, but also blocking out the big camp, just to make sure that Enigma cannot even farm in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, Enigma probably would have been better suited just to toggle between these two medium camps on his side of the map. But he's going to be getting absolutely nothing. He has 2 CS to his name, and at this point in the game, that's really poor for an Enigma. Witch Doctor is pinged out in mid. The bottle is going to be delivered towards the Faceless Void, and he is going to go for that item just to sustain in this lane. Not the most conventional choices, but it's actually Razor to give up first blood, and now they go into Suniko. They're chasing him down. They don't have any further slows, but I completely missed it, and didn't expect Razor to give up his life.
I pretty much clicked it just as the body dropped, so I kind of missed it as well. And just classic man. Of course, this dual lane, I didn't expect it to happen either, but I guess Pounce can be extremely strong if you land it properly and the Chilling Touch to follow. So that's the first blood. If it had been a tri lane from mYinsanity, I would have really just kept an eye on it a little bit more, but dual versus dual this early on, I didn't expect it to happen, but there it was. And looking at overall the farm, mYinsanity doing extremely well. I mean, Legion Commander is 16-0, so it's good for him, but Puck, he's 6-3 compared to a 13-5. That early, just poor man shield, which Mitch started out with, doing all the work for him.
Yeah, and they also get first blood on top of it, and on the Razor no less. Ditchera just not having a good time, which is also fairly unexpected, even with support. Razor, although he's generally thought of as a pretty tanky hero, his base stats aren't stellar, and with just the boots, surviving up against that Pounce apparently was just too much, so we'll see how that's going to work out. Puck in mid now has the bottle, so Sheshel's lane is going to get a little bit easier for him, but it's still not that great. Mitch, once he gets this level 6, you also need to be scared of a Chronosphere, and any rotation in on top of that Chrono could be the end of Puck's life. Razor is attempting to get these links out onto the Slark, but every time they do, there's always a Pounce from Slark to keep him out of range, so Milan didn't even lose a single tick of damage.
So at the moment, wait, I saw some. Oh yeah, the Slark. He has himself that Sage's Mask. Do you think it's going to be just a Ring of Aquila on a Slark at the moment, or just a completely casual Sage's Mask to sustain your mana on the lane?
I assume Ring of Aquila, but I like Soul Ring on Slark, especially if you're not going to get a bottle. It's not a bad choice at all. I think it is just going to be the Aquila, though. It seems to be the most standard and a really slot-efficient item.
Well, we shall see. At the moment, it's rather passive apart from that one kill that happened. J4 might want to rotate into the mid lane, but even if he does, Mitch with a time walk should be able to escape. Malphite's not enough of a lockdown, and Cheshlo not maxing out Waning Rift either, so almost positive that they wouldn't be able to kill off a Faceless Void, at least when he starts at full HP.
Yeah, even though Legion Commander gets a really early edge in this lane down in bottom, Witch Doctor now showing his face is going to offer some help to the DP, and currently farming a little bit better than the Legion, has caught up nicely, especially after those phase boots have come out. J4, usually Enigma is thought of as like that X-Factor super farming support that's able to get a lot out of the jungle, but for now, J4 really hasn't had any sort of jungle groove or any amount of farm up top.
Well, Lizard, well, what? They turn it around! I thought Lizard is gonna go down first, but 1 Pounce, level 2 only, but the Chilling Touch, just Cold Feet I think were used as well, yes. Milan, is he really gonna keep on going? Dark Pact is there, he might get the kill, a few more Essence Shifts. Oh my freaking god, it's gonna be chasing him down. Soneko runs around the tree, around the tower rather, and Milan, he goes down. Soneko, oh god. I mean, even without boots, manages to outrun a Slark. That was crazy.
Okay, so pathing around towers is stupid, and I think we've just witnessed why. That shouldn't happen. I think Ogre should have died there. But Slark, even if you try to run smoothly around the tower, you kind of stutter step around these edges. So, I don't know. It is going to be Slark giving up his life for pretty much free, and Ogre comes out on top of that trade, almost level 6. He's just a creep or two away from that, and then we're going to
lane, there's gonna not be a dual paralyzing cast. Got the bounce. Chrisine pops his ultimate as well. And Jeshagat, I think he's gonna be chased down. Nothing to assist him. Trying to juke his way through the trees. Press the attack as well. Oh, what? He actually managed to do it at the moment. Lizard gonna find him, of course. Cold Feet, a few more right clicks. It's not gonna be enough. Well, and in the meantime, Chronosphere in the mid lane, J4 gonna get caught on the Enigma. Don't think he can make it out, or maybe Time Walk is there. Chashiro arrives as well. They have the Dream Coil, but the Time Walk is there. J4 survives, Chashlo survives. Got no idea how for more or less both of them, but they make it out.
Yeah, everybody lives. There was actually not a single killer on that map, despite a lot of cooldowns being spent on either side. So, I don't know, both teams are going to be okay with everybody that lives, and well, first usage of Chronosphere isn't exactly that impactful, but it doesn't really matter. Faceless Void's still getting quite a bit at this early laning stage, currently sitting at the top of the net worth chart, and, I don't know, just sustaining himself very well. Enigma's starting to pick up a little bit of farming momentum, but J4 still hasn't made any large impact. Also, not at level 6 yet. It's really weird to see an Ogre Magi out-leveling his friendly Enigma.
Oh, it's definitely weird, but Power Rangers, that's exactly what they need. I mean, they've been struggling somewhat. Milando is level 6 as well. He finds Ogre, although I don't think he can get the solo kill on that anyway. And he even has 2 points into Ascent Shift. It's not a common build by any means. Usually just either max out Dark Pact or Pounce, depending on what you're up against and how aggressive you want to go yourself. But 2 in Ascent Shift, I mean, it's nice to have the extra duration, but is it worth just delaying out the maxing of the other skills?
I'm not sure. It scales really well. Ascent Shift doubling the duration that you're able to steal those spells, or excuse me, the stats. I think 1 extra point is nice with the Chilling Touch as well as the Pounce latch onto Ditchirai is going to give up his life again up in top. Regardless, they still have plenty of bursts, so Nico's going to be able to make it out alive with his boots as well as his magic wand. But still, this Razor is finding nothing, and in fact, I think that he's less than his Ogre, very close to his Ogre as far as net worth is concerned. Just the upgraded boots to his name, not really anything, and yeah, I think it's an okay build from this arc, although not my personal choice. I think it's well enough.
It's just 15 seconds is a pretty low time, so I guess it's fine. In the meantime, of course, Power Rangers trying to take full advantage of the fact that mYinsanity supports their top lane. So going for the tier 1 bottom lane, might be able to bring it down. Glyph was already used. And at the moment doesn't look like anybody wants to TP in. Ancient Apparition slowly walking there. Mitch around as well has the Chronosphere. And looks like he's going for a Hand of Midas as well to kind of secure the late game. Between the Slark, Faceless Void and the Death Prophet. And also their supports can be extremely impactful even in the late game with their ultimates. It wouldn't be a horrible choice.
Yeah, I like it as long as it doesn't go punished. And even if you go for Midas on Faceless Void, you still offer the Chronosphere for your team. And with that Chronosphere, you have plenty of follow-up damage with the Witch Doctor and Ancient Apparition. Jump in mid, Chronosphere onto Shachla. Trying to get the tower is going to be punished dearly for it as he gets bashed down. And now, to add insult to injury, his tower is going to get denied.
Oh man, this game definitely not going half as well as Power Rangers hoped, or has half as well the game number 1 went. They're still getting a reasonable amount of farm, although J4, he got heavily slowed down on his Enigma, still getting more than a normal support would, as you can see from mYinsanity's side. So it's something, although Razor getting shut down I think maybe hurts the most for Power Rangers, just because Razor, not the greatest of comeback heroes.
Yeah, he really isn't. Razor usually thrives on winning that early laning phase and then transitioning with some good farm after that. This game, no such luck for Ditchirai, and he's not going to be the tanky frontline Razor that we're used to seeing. Fire Blast onto Milan, not going to do very much of anything, doesn't multicast, and he'll be able to regen up all that HP over in the sidelines, just juking some creeps. But in the meantime, the Enigma in the river to be the one to drop. Puck's inbound, drops a Dream Coil onto 2. It does connect on the Lizard as well. No rolling odds, does a truckload of damage with the Waning Rift as well as one more auto attack. Satchlo secures a double kill on the 2 supports.
I'm not too sure if the Dream Coil broke it or Chashlo's right click, but maybe Ancient Apparition even wanted to break the Dream Coil just to make sure he won't get dueled. It would have been the easiest duel win for Legion Commander otherwise. So if he really thought like, if I'm going to break the Dream Coil and die from that, I'm going to prevent the duel. If the thought process was behind that, then excellently done. But no duel win, and Power Rangers, they still have yet to win a single duel. They've actually yet to use a single duel, I think.
Yeah, Cheshire Cat really hasn't found an opening, but he is going to have a very fast Blink Dagger, so even though he missed out on a potential opportunity to get that dual damage, it's probably going to come out for Cheshire Cat eventually. This Legion Commander is pretty much a saving grace for PR, doing a lot better than I expected.
Well, all in all, looking at the early graphs as well, it is about a 500 net worth lead for Power Rangers. XP 1k as well. Actually started at 2k even. I guess just the Enigma jungling, although he didn't get that much done just because he didn't have all the camps to work with. It's still better than the supports. Maybe Sand King would have been able to make up for it or something, but now Chashlo, he's pretty close to his own blink as well. Looking for top lane, Grisine comes in, Milan, he's around. Do they see Chashlo, or even if they do, can they get the kill? There's no points into silence. J4 comes in as well, he has the black hole. Gonna make Eidolons, maybe. Milan, there's the illusion orb, just pounces away from them, and yeah, he's safe.
Yeah, not much that they can do to lock down that Slark unless they commit all of their spells. Slark looks like he's heading towards a hand of Midas with his Gloves of Haste. Not a huge fan of this choice coming out from him, but definitely if mYinsanity are able to drag out this game, they'll be able to find a lot of farm in pretty much all of their cores. The only one not on the Midas train is the Death Prophet, and she would rather build into some bigger, better things. I would have preferred a Blink on the Slark, but I suppose they're just going to rely on Time Walk into Chronosphere to get that initiation out.
Oh, they might get slightly punished now. Chestercat gets his Blink there, smokes up immediately and TPs to the mid lane. Chargelaw, 150 gold away from his own Blink Dagger. So those Midases might hurt him a little bit, but there's the Ice Blast top lane, pounces as well onto Tichara. Doesn't get the leech, but there's Chronosphere from Mitch, comes in over the trees with the Time Walk. Grisine with the Exorcism, as was the Crypt Spawns. They're going to get Soneko as well. Beautiful 2 kills mid lane, duel 1 by Chestercat, so gets the Witch Doctor. But top lane, they're probably going to lose the tier 1 as well, so mYinsanity just heavily favored in that fight.
Definitely. But, I mean, you do get extra damage on the Leech Commander, so it's not all bad for Power Rangers, and losing a tower after those 2 kills is kind of expected, so I think you can kind of call those isolated fights. One win for Power Rangers and a larger win for mYinsanity, but still, it's not very pretty for Power Rangers. At this point in the game, they'd really like to start finding engagements on their own terms, and they might be able to do so with Satchelow's Blink Dagger. But none of the other heroes outside of Leech Commander and the Puck really have what they want. Jumping on the Slarky, Silent Stuff can't get anything off. Dreamcool, Black Hole committed, and Milan will fall. They have to drop a lot of ultimates for it, but if you leave that Slark any time to pop his ultimate or pounce away, you could be missing the kill, so I think it's definitely worth it.
Moving for the Black Hole, you probably won't get too much time. At bottom lane, they're gonna get Lizard with... Does he have enough to win the duel? One more right click. Yes, he wins the duel. For a second I thought he might not even get it, but should be able to run away from Grisine as well. Has the face boots with maxed out Witchcraft, but not gonna keep on going, not alone at least. So that's 20 damage gained already for the Legion Commander. So he started to pick up the pace. Hand of Midas picked up a Razor as well now, just to try to catch up, I guess. Not the worst, bad choice. Slark gets his own at the same time as well. So Slark and Razor, funny enough, they're sitting at almost the same net worth at the moment.
Yeah, and after the start they had, that's pretty ridiculous. The 2 deaths on Milan really hurting him quite a bit. I don't know. I'd rather have the Midases that mYinsanity have than the ones that Power Rangers do, but for the next couple minutes in this game, Chestercat as well as Shashlo should be able to find some pickoffs, and that's what Power Rangers should look to do. If they're able to avoid dying on their other heroes, they'll be in a really great situation. Dichira is going to be tagged by an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast up top, but just TP's down towards bottom. It's only level 1, so hardly tickles him. Witch Doctor buys a truckload of smokes, and all of those are going to be sent out to himself. Yeah, he's going to be emptying his shop of smoke.
Well, it's definitely not a bad just attempt to go for the ganks. I mean, they have the Chronosphere off cooldown. They have Milan running around on the Slarks, just doing more or less nothing, trying to farm up. So with the Chronosphere as well as the Ice Blast, should be really easy to set up kills. Way easier than just winning duels, I think, for the Legion Commander most of the time. But can they find the correct targets? At the moment, Power Rangers, they are rather spread out. mYinsanity, they would like to get as big of a team fight as they can, just because their ultimates at the moment are that much stronger. Plus, Black Hole also on cooldown. I'm pretty sure they timed it, or at least they know just the approximate time when it's gonna come off. So they should smoke up and go for something, but I think they would have to want the Faceless Void in the smoke as well.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what they're going to decide to do. They're grouped up fairly heavily. They'll clear out this creep wave at the very least, and maybe then they look for a smoke. But the tier 1 tower is still standing in mid, so maybe they just look for a straight up push with Death Prophet Exorcism. Unfortunately for them, it's not level 11 yet, so Death Prophet really doesn't want to use that cooldown immediately. Leech Commander up in the high ground is going to blink away to safely as Chestercat makes it back to the creep wave.
Really looks like they want to keep on pushing. Mitch also building towards an Aghanim Scepter on the Faceless Void once the 60-second cooldown. I mean, not a bad choice with the Ice Blast, which is a 40-second cooldown. You can always just set up kills with that. But Mitch, is he gonna time walk in? Chargelaw already blinked out, just Illusionor blink out, Ignite's flying as well. Grisine, there's his ultimate, the Exorcism. Not too sure if they can even defend this or if they want to defend it. Enigma, maybe if he had the Black Hole, but he has the mech, so gonna help out a little bit with the heal. That's something that mYinsanity doesn't have, although Ice Blast, if it connects, there's not gonna be a mech either, just a waste of mana. And this tower, almost positive it's gonna go down.
Yeah, it seems that that's the case. Grizine's taking quite a lot of tower aggro and eats an overwhelming odds with an entire creep wave on top of it. But they'll get this tower, although jumping for a duel. Grazine, they're going to go for it, but the Chronosphere immediately coming out from Mitch is going to make that duel fizzle. And now with the Witch Doctor ultimate to turn around, and HF versus Ice Blast on Cheshire Cat, the paralyzing cast bouncing through the Ichira as well. Counter Black Hole, but the Witch Doctor ultimate still being channeled onto J4. They'll be able to clean up the 2 kills inside the Black Hole, but then Mitch bashes down the, Enigma. It's a 3-for-3 trade, and now chasing down Milan. A pencil to the high ground with the Hastrian. It's going to keep himself safe. Tier 1 tower still stands and is probably going to be denied in a ridiculous team fight for both sides.
The death ward, cancel the freaking death ward. Without that, if they had been able to cancel it within the first few seconds or something, that fight would have been that much better for Power Rangers. And of course the Chronosphere catching, what, I think 3 heroes of Power Rangers like that. They almost bursted down the Death Prophet, but suddenly the spirits started returning to him and healing him up. That timing was just perfect for the spirits to return, otherwise would have just ticked down to the ignite of the ogre already. So nicely done, and suddenly there's also Aghanim Scepter finished already on Faceless Void. He's number 1 in net worth with his Hand of Midas, 2k above the Razor at the moment. 60-second cooldown, extra duration as well on it. Going to be so hard for Power Rangers to just do anything unless they get a jump on Faceless Void himself.
It really is. I don't know. It's a fairly even trade, but because Faceless Void survives throughout all of that, and the Slark survives, I think it's a slight victory for mYinsanity. Slark's item build, not a huge fan of this. He's going to go for a Shadow Blade. I think Blink Dagger is better as an aggressive initiating tool. Maybe he's going to be able to find the pickoffs, but I don't think this is the game for it. I think going for bigger ticket items after the Midas is probably
Battle
a little
Fury
bit better.
Slark, man, incoming! Claymore into Battle Fury.
I mean, it could be, and I don't know. It would still be pretty bad. I would have liked to see just rush straight into Scotty.
I don't think I've ever seen a Battle Fury Slark, to be honest. Just stats are that much better for him. He's gonna get the agility and everything from the Essence shift if need be. But he's going for it. He has the Invis rune as well. Top lane, they're gonna blink in. There's the duel onto Mitch. Can they get the kill? Midnight Pulse, but the Ice Blast is coming. The mech is there, but not gonna do anything. At least he doesn't lose the duel. Mitch still alive. The last Malphite brings him down to 10 HP. Now he's bottling up as well, and they're going for J4. This game, just Power Rangers, they didn't look all that bad because they were farming reasonably well. But the last fights, just mYinsanity, they're getting the momentum for themselves. Although I have to agree, this Shadow Blade might just slow down the momentum a little bit. With the blink, they could have just gone way more aggressive.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how it's going to pan out for them. If they're able to keep up the map control and keep finding these fights, mYinsanity are going to be in a really good situation. But this game is night and day from game number 1. At this point in the game, Power Rangers were pretty much looking for a GG. Grazine drops Puck into a silence, but the silence misses, and Shachlo will be able to walk casually out of this one. It's going to be Yule's Scepter for Puck as well. He's going to have that item shortly on top of it. Power Rangers are by no means out of this game, but still, the momentum's in mYinsanity's favor, and now they have another Chronosphere cooling down. And with Witch Doctor as well as Ancient Apparition, having that 60-second cooldown is actually really good because of just 40 seconds and 80 seconds respectively on both of those ultimates. You can pretty much go whenever that Chronosphere is off of cooldown.
It really is so easy for them to set up kills with that, or fights at least. But Power Rangers, Razor finishes up his own Aghanim Scepter as well. So if they ever win a fight and still have the Eye of the Storm ready, they can easily push down towers at least. Well, they also have the Eidolons, so gonna be extra push with that. If they only could sneak a Roshan, but they don't have a medallion or anything, they still would be able to do it, I think, with Legion Commander tanking it, for example. But, man, they really need Aegis, they need something. Razor and Puck are farmed, but for how long will they be able to fight against the Tricore of mYinsanity?
Yeah, we'll just have to see. These carries aren't reaching critical mass yet. The items that they have are nice, but they're not immediately going to win them that game. But once they get 1 or 2 major damage dealing and or defensive items, I think they're going to become unmanageable. If we see like a Heart Shivas on Death Prophet, Scotty Basher on Slark, and Faceless Void with maybe like Daedalus Mjolnir, some big ticket item like that, then Power Rangers are going to find it hard to win fights. Right now, if everybody was on equal footing as far as farm is concerned, I'd favor Power Rangers' ability to find engagements. But for now, that's not the case, and it's going to be mYinsanity to look for a little bit of a push down in bottom. They do have the level 11 ultimate available for the Death Prophet, and the tier 1 tower is probably going to fall very quickly, but Leech Commander is going to make it as hard as possible and lose your orb on top of it to clear up the rest of the creep wave. Tier 1 tower is not falling very quickly, and in the meantime, Enigma as well as Razor are farming inside their own jungle. Exorcism committed for this tier 1 is going to ensure this for mYinsanity. It looks like Power Rangers aren't interested in defending, but on the backlines, Milan looking for a jump into Nico does miss the pounce, and now Fire Blast going to be voided by an ultimate coming out from the Slark. HF person Ice Blast flies through, but Milan just running distraction as Death Prophet takes down this tower.
Can he even take it down though? It is a little too Exorcism, but he drops pretty low himself from I don't know even what, to be honest, but they defend the tower for now, not in the 9 range either, so mYinsanity not too bad. I mean, bringing it down to 300 HP with the Exorcism. A decent-ish trade, not the best. And in the meantime, there's gonna be that Blade Mail finish on Cheshire Cat. Gonna help so greatly, not only for his survivability, but the ability to win duels as well. Just, nobody has a BKB yet, so everybody's gonna be damaging themselves. I guess except for the Death Ward of Witch Doctor, but everything else.
Jump inside the jungle. They're going to get a silence on the Mitch, but he has a Chronosphere and they can't go any further. Now Sanico is going to be pounced upon by the Slark. It does connect, and now Sanico is going to be losing his life for this one. It's going to be a clean Ogre pickoff that Witch Doctor gets the last hit for. Even though Power Rangers get a lot of damage on their tier 1, they're farming on 2 heroes while that defense is going down. It was like a 3 for 5, 3 versus 5, and they still kind of come out on top. So without that Ogre pickoff, I'd say that's a pretty significant win for them. It gets them the Enigma's Blink Dagger, but still, neither team really feels comfortable going into the other. The big team fight ultimates are really scary, dealing with the Black Hole on Power Rangers side as well as the Dream Coil, and just the Chronosphere Witch Doctor combination.
I think they saw Cheshire Cat with the courier. I saw some pings come out, Mitch. Gonna ride. Oh god, there's the bashes, no blink. Chronosphere as well. Chrisine even goes for the silence. Hatawa arrives, as does Milan. And well, that's Legion Commander dead. He was trying to be sneaky, but the courier that came to the side shop to just purchase up something, Orb of Venom might have been for the Slark. I'm not too sure, but just unlucky break for Cheshire Cat.
I think it was one of the support's point boosters, but yeah, just a terrible spot to be caught out in between a rock and a hard place, and without a very quick blink, Legion Commander is completely screwed, and she was. Get spashed, and then Chronosphered. Can't get out of that alive, and so it's going to be another pickoff going the way of mYinsanity, and I don't know, even with these pickoffs, I think it's okay that Power Rangers are delaying this, but sooner rather than later, we should have a full 5-on-5 engagement. We're very close to it, especially with mYinsanity. Can find something with this smoke, and that something looks like it's going to be Ditcherized. Defensively positioned on the other side of the lane, but still with the Slark Shadow Bladed up, they could have gone for something, but he doesn't pop it instead. Just decides to farm up the creep wave. Razor's still sticking around, but Ditchera, it's unlikely he's going to show his face, and it's also unlikely that mYinsanity will find him out.
Milan, he just gave away his positioning. I'm more or less certain that Razor would have gone for the creep wave clear, but he saw the Dark Pact. And even if you don't see the hero himself, you see the animation of it anyway. So Milan maybe getting a little bit too greedy there, going for the farm like that when you're ganking at the same time. So just gave it away, but they're going to get the tier 1 anyway. They even popped the Exorcism for this low tower. Does this mean that they want to keep on going for the tier 2 as well? Because otherwise, Exorcism for a 300 HP tower, which you would have gotten anyway pretty much, it's just not worth it.
I think even if you want to go for the tier 2, you still hold it, just to make sure you have it during the team fight, because this Exorcism is pretty much going to time out before any defense or fight is going to break out. On the backlines, however, Witch Doctor is hunting for something along with the Slark, but they're going to both be Dream Coiled down by the puck. Razor's inbound will get a small link off of the Milan that doesn't really do anything. The coil is going to be snapped by Slark's pounce, but healed up by the Voodoo Restoration. The tier 2 tower down and bottom is only dropped to about half, but they're looking for a disengage. Chronosphere on the puck, and now Cheshire Cat trying to jump into this. Witch Doctor Ultimate's too much damage for Puck to survive, and now Mitch sitting around inside the Chronosphere, going to be initiated upon by Cheshire Cat. There's a lot of heroes around here, but will they be able to win the duel? He's bashing down Cheshire Cat with the paralyzing cask. He's going to be able to time walk to the low ground. Black Hole catches up Milan as well as the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor first to die to Razor and his Eye of the Storm. Now Milan is going to fall, although they don't get Leech Commander for the damage, they still get a favorable trade.
They do lose a gem though. I mean, Puck was holding the gem and Mitch picks it up and runs away with it. And like we talked about in the draft as well, Faceless Void is a pretty good hero against duel. Just he's going to be bashing the Legion Commander, has the backtrack as well. They just didn't have nearly enough damage to bring him down, and now Mitch gonna have a BKB, I think, or well, some other item to pick the Maelstrom. I guess it's fine. He doesn't really need a BKB all that bad in this game, but extra attack speed, extra damage output. Power Rangers, they're just not getting the dual wins. Cheshire Cat, the 2 that he did win was within like 2 maximum minutes, I think. After that, just complete quiet.
Yeah, I mean, at 26 minutes in, 20 damage isn't terrible, but you'd really like to have a stack or two on top of this, especially since there was potential for 2 extra duels to win this game, and Power Rangers just weren't able to seal it out. Grazine TP away behind a tree is going to avoid Saniko, even though he might not have known it. Ogre Magi was looking for something. Yeah, for now, both teams are going to be passively on their side of the map, and this is favoring mYinsanity. Those Midases are starting to pay off. On the face of this Void, getting that Maelstrom, now working towards this Mjolnir. Slark, after his Shadow Blade, now sitting on quite a lump sum of gold, and Death Prophet now has a Reaver. And actually, that's a completed heart now for Grazine. This is very scary. Power Rangers, it's going to get even harder for them to win those duels and find initiations that favor them, even if they get the Dreamcoil Black Hole combination of their life. The damage just isn't there yet. Legion Commander doesn't have enough dual victories or farm to back it up, and Razor doesn't really have the farm. He has BKB and Aghanims, which is nice to sit on the front lines and do constant damage throughout the team fights, but it's not focused, and it doesn't get down all of these heroes, especially when they're being sustained by a Witch Doctor's Voodoo Restoration.
Just all of them are so tanky as well. Both supports have the point booster as well as the Ogre Club, so they're even tanking up themselves. Both have almost enough gold for the third part as well, so if like 2 more towers go down, they're gonna have the Aghanim Scepter, or maybe 1 tower plus just a couple of minutes. If they get Aghanim Scepter Death Ward and Aghanim Scepter Ice Blast, 17-second duration, Power Rangers, man, I don't really feel too confident in their ability to just win this game at this point. mYinsanity, of course, it's not like it's a done deal for sure win, but it's just going to be extremely hard for them to execute on the level that mYinsanity will just get overwhelmed.
Yeah, another tier 2 tower down in bottom. They're going to try to duel up Grazine. They drop the Midnight Pulse on the ground, and Grazine might lose this duel, but it's not going to be so. The duel's going to fizzle as Legion Commander dies immediately afterwards. However, the Ancient Apparition Death Powder cleaned up by Ditcher on the backlines with the Eye of the Storm activated. Now they're going to be able to Fire Blast down the Slark. Even though they lose their Legion, they're still chasing for more Mitch. They catch him out on the sidelines. Can they cancel the TP? They won't, as he survives with hardly any HP to spare, but still a convincing win for Power Rangers, even though they didn't have a black hole to spend. I'm not sure how that went so abysmally for mYinsanity.
Beats me. I just said like, oh man, Power Rangers, they should be on the back foot, and they win an excellent fight. They didn't win a duel, but they didn't lose it either, I think.
No, they didn't.
So,
Death Prophet was the one being dueled, and Legion died immediately after it fizzled.
So they got the Death Prophet pretty damn low. He of course had to try to run away straight afterwards, but since Razor, he managed to come in from behind and not get Chronot. He cleaned off the supports completely by himself. I do believe he had a level 3 Eye of the Storm already by the time the fight started as well. And with the BKB, there's nothing too much damaging him, so I guess they need him in the Chronosphere. But man, this Midnight Pulse, I guess, might have also done quite a lot of work there, but really surprising fight. I can't understand how it went like that.
I think the biggest thing is that they were able to force out the Chronosphere onto the duel, and that they didn't catch most of the heroes into it. And without the Witch Doctor Death Ward backing up the Chronosphere, at least for a long duration, the damage maybe isn't as significant as it needs to be. And Slark also didn't accomplish much in the team fight. mYinsanity, they seem to just be picked off one by one and isolated. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast in the pit is going to be annoying, and Power Rangers might reconsider going for this approach. It's not the fastest. Jump in from Faceless Void. Now the Chronosphere onto 2. He's going to be able to clean up the puck. Now Saniko. The Ancient Apparition Ice Blast effect is going to wear off, but it's not going to save Ogre's life. Gem reclaimed by Ditchura, and it's not going to be a straight up loss for them, but still the Faceless Void survives throughout all of it. And now into the Roshan pit. It's going to be mYinsanity a fight around here, and it's not a fight that Power Rangers can feel comfortable taking.
Oh, Milan finds Cheshire Cat, going to get the pounce as well. Mitch comes in, and this is going to be a kill. Blade Mail activated, but there's no escape. So they get the third one as well, so they pretty much make up entirely for the fight, plus maybe even get Aegis for themselves. Power Rangers, they took a excellent fight, and they just lost. You can't even call it a fight or skirmish, just pickoffs.
Yeah, and now Mitch with his Permabash on the Roshan, even though they don't have the greatest sustain in the pit, it actually doesn't matter. Roshan's dead, and it's going to be going the way of mYinsanity, so yeah, I'd say that they win that fight, and I'm sure the graphs are going to reflect that. If you look at them, it's actually quite insane. It drops down to 0 after the fight the PR won, and then straight back up to 2,000 advantage towards mYinsanity, and Experience going to be a similar story. Dips down to 5,000 in favor of PR, and now it's advantage mYinsanity. A lot of big swings inside this game.
So yeah, mYinsanity come out, well, in XP they come like 500 ahead by the end of all those engagements. Net worth a little bit more, just because they got the Roshan gold as well as the tier 2 wins down, I think, from the bottom lane in that one fight, but what a crazy engagement. But of course, mYinsanity, their cores are still farming better. It's just this Legion commander hasn't just lifted off yet. Evil Scepter onto Enigma. Cheshire Cat is around as well and can maybe jump Christine, but the Ice Blast is flying in. Not going to disable the Blink Dagger so they can still keep on going if they catch up, but Enigma, is they... Yep, it's a 17-second Ice Blast plus Aghanim Scepter Death Ward as well for Witch Doctor. It's going to be so scary if they can use those ultimates, although Ancient Operation should always be able to use it. So many games I've seen just Ancient Operation just split pushing and sending the Ice Blast from a long range, just because the longer you send it from, or the just bigger the distance, the bigger the Ice Blast, so...
Yeah, I think that's the way to play Ancient Apparition. At this point in the game, Chilling Touch, although it's kind of nice to have on your carries, isn't incredibly useful, and you might be able to cast it before the fight, but afterwards, might as well just back off, get as far as way you can, and just farm up another lane. You're really there for the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, which is a crazy spell if you're able to line it up. And for now, we're going to have a pause. I have no idea why. But it looks like mYinsanity have all of the tools that they need to fight. Unless they get picked apart again and lose their supports immediately at the start of the engagement, I expect mYinsanity to still be able to win this, especially since they are going to be working with a double life on Faceless Void.
Well, double life, not going to be too shabby at all, and Eye of Skadi almost beats the Slark. I'm pretty sure he had an Orb of Venom somewhere at some point. Yeah, it's on the ground, so just needs the point booster. And mYinsanity, at least, they are ready. Don't know if Power Rangers are as well. But Exorcism is up, almost level 3. Would like to have it level 3 before they actually fight, I think. But not too bad if they don't. Tier 2 should still be going down here. And, man, Power Rangers. Of course, we can count them out because we saw how they can win a fight. But being able to replicate those situations is going to be the hardest thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, the Enigma is pushing out top. He does have a TP to get back into this fight, as well as Black Hole and Mechanism, everything off of cooldown. Legion Commander is also a little bit far away from this tier 2 tower, so maybe they're just going to forfeit it. They'll spam it out with Ignite as well as some Illusory Orbs, but if they really want to commit the Exorcism to this, they could take this tier 2 tower this wave, and they'll save it, which is scary for them. I don't think Power Rangers really are equipped to take a fight unless they're able to find some pickoffs before, and the way they're grouped up currently, that doesn't seem to be possible at all. And tier 2 tower is going to be forfeit, and they can go for another lane, just rinse and repeat. They have Exorcism available, and there's nothing really stopping them. Enigma and Razor split pushing is annoying, but it's nothing they can't deal with, and they really need all of their heroes there.
So, most likely mYinsanity. Just top lane now. Although Milan will have his Eye of Skadi finished, but Shadowblade, it's an item that really hasn't done too much for him so far, I think. Could have gone for Straight of Skadi, might have been a little bit better for the previous fights. But as he has the Eye of Skadi for next, it's still gonna be fine. And Power Rangers, do they just keep on farming up, trying to split push themselves or something, or do they actually try to win fights?
I don't know. I don't think there's a clear option for them. I think the best they can hope for is maybe like smoke and look for a big wraparound on the mYinsanity and look to see if they can kill off Hatawa on the backlines of the fight. But we'll just have to see how it's going to break out. Mitch is invised up and will time walk over the trees. He was spotted out by the Dire, but although they're postured to make defense, unless they get a beautiful black hole, I don't expect them to wholeheartedly try to defend this tier 2 tower again. We're going to see Exorcism available, and it should be second verse, same as the first. I expect this tier 2 tower to fall.
And the Prophet, is he going to hit level 16 from these Eidolons and this creep wave? On a so damn close. Why people keep soaking up his XP, but now Cheshire Cat gonna go in, press the attack, the duel comes out onto Christine, they need to bring him down, but there's the Chrono, beautifully onto 2 heroes, Christine still alive, his Exorcism doing a crazy amount of damage, and look at those bounces from the Death Ward. He does get stunned up, but it's enough, the damage has been done already. Hatawa might go down to just Son Neiko, although even that's not gonna happen. Maledict on the Ogre Magi, they're gonna get just a 5-4-0 fight.
Yeah, the difference there was that the Chronosaur catches out more heroes than what we saw down in bottom. And Death Prophet, once you disable the right clicks of Legion Commander, she's going to win that duel with just the Exorcism Spirit. She doesn't need to be right clicking to do her damage, and it shredded apart Power Rangers. Witch Doctor, Death Ward, everything came together for mYinsanity, and no, we're not crazy. That's the team fight that we were talking about that should have happened down at bottom, and now they can push her high ground even without Exorcism available. It's 20 seconds before they have to face a single hero on Power Rangers unless they want to buy back. And they might be forced to. They should be able to get one lane of barracks.
I guess they're like, we don't need to buy back on the 2 heroes because if the others aren't up at the same time, we can't do anything. But that's just one set of frags down. mYinsanity taking a huge advantage. Just huge swing, looking at the graphs as well, suddenly about a 13,000 net worth lead. XP 10k as well. Shiva's card finished on the Death Prophet. Probably lots of other heroes will get some extra items now, whereas Power Rangers, they aren't getting anything at all. Mitch still has the Chronosphere, or rather once again has the Chronosphere. Plus it's a 6-second one. Ice Blast is flying. Nobody's running into it. Milan wants to go as well with the Shadow Blade. They're not gonna find anything from the top lane at the moment. But that one fight just might have been kind of the nail in the coffin.
Pretty much, this is the critical mass I was talking about. Hart and Shiva's on the Death Prophet, Aghanim Scepter's on the supports, Slark with Scotty, and almost enough money to get his next item. I wasn't expecting the Shadow Blade, but still, he's a threat inside the team fight, as is the Faceless Void, Mjolnir, and now on top of that, a completed Daedalus, or soon-to-be completed Daedalus once he flies that out to himself. I don't see a clean way that Power Rangers can fight unless they find the dream pickups, and as long as mYinsanity group up and push down a lane, what are they going to be able to do about it? And even if they just back off and farm, they still have item slots to fill, and that's the scariest part about it. Power Rangers, they can't take this passively and just turtle on the high ground. They're the ones that need to do something, and I don't see an opening. It's very scary for them at this point in the game. Although it was incredibly close up until about 30 minutes, we now see a 15,000 net worth advantage for mYinsanity, and experience is almost mirroring that at about 13k.
Well, they do have BKB on J4 now, so maybe a huge black hole will make a difference. There is the Chronosphere, of course, that can still stop it even through the BKB. Oh god, life is hard. Milan on the hunt as well with the Shadow Blade. Ice Blast is already flying bottom lane. He's gonna find J4. Ice Blast does connect onto him. He's gonna pounce onto Chashla instead. And J4, can he go for the black hole, or is he gonna attempt it? Christine has the ultimate. Shiva's got the teacher up. Pops is on BKB. Does a lot of damage to the Death Prophet. There's the duel onto Milan as well. They're gonna win against the Slug just because he was left alone completely. mYinsanity maybe getting a little bit over eager there, but there's Mitch. Chronosphere only catches one, but it's gonna be enough to bring down the Razor pretty damn fast. They might even get a few more if they catch up with anything. Time Walk still on cooldown. Chashla gonna lose her orb over the river here. This is gonna blink away and be safe.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade, and considering Slark's positioning before that, that went decently for mYinsanity. Slark was completely out of position, and Shadow Blade, I think it was giving him a little bit of a false sense of security there, and just gets caught out, going for a solo kill in the pocket, especially on a Slark with no further lockdown than a pounce, is almost impossible. However, Puck going to jump in, gets the Dream Coil as well as Silence onto 2, but now Puck in a bit of a pickle. Jump in Black Hole by J4, looking for a Black Hole, but can't find it on more than just one. He doesn't want to spend it. Black Hole down the tubes, and now jumping in, they will commit the Black Hole onto Mitch, but with a Witch Doctor Death Ward, that's going to be way too much. They duel up Hadawa, and they will be able to get that kill and a little bit of extra damage for the Legion Commander. 2 for 2. Now Ancient Apparition being cleaned up by Shashlo, needs one more attack. Will be able to find it, maybe needs a little bit more, and Yule Scepter up into the air. He's going to be bashed down on impact. Lizard going to deny himself the neutrals potentially, and will do so as he's killed by the neutral creep. But another Yule Scepter now this time onto the Legion Commander. She can't jump out of here, but she's trying for the TP. Is there a way to cancel it? There is a Chronosphere from the high ground. Now Time Walk down Mitch. That Chronosphere cooldown is pretty ridiculous, and we'll be able to find another kill. It's beyond godlike for this Faceless Void. Currently 15-0-6. Is there anything Power Rangers can do? That fight looked a lot better than the previous ones, but they still lose it.
Yeah, they also lost Razor before as well already, so just even more horrible. And the Faceless Void, he's just too big at this point. Another 2.4k in the bank at least. Hand of Might is still giving value to him. And they're most likely going to lose another set of racks. 25 seconds for the Chronosphere, but Mitch, he had an Illusion Rune. Extra damage. Ogre Magi, man, you're going to have to channel, I don't know what spirits. So you're going to multicast somebody down. If he had Aghanim Scepter, maybe could kill somebody with just extremely lucky multicast. But even then, not even level 16 for the max multicast. And this is just another Rex down.
Yeah, even if he got the double 3x multicast with an Aghanim Scepter, it doesn't really matter. And a 3x multicast honestly isn't that impactful. And now Slark jumps in, soloing up to Chiral, be able to BKB and walk out of that leash. But now the second lane of barracks is going to fall. Faceless Void as well as the Exes and Spirits are going to rip through that one. They rotate down towards bottom. there's really nothing stopping them. Even though Power Rangers are in full force as far as their heroes, there's no black hole for 90, and Chronosphere is up, and that Chronosphere is going to be spent onto Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat is so dead. There's nothing you can do here. There's Drinkle in the backlines. They'll be able to catch out the Death Prophet, but she's still surviving with very low HP, and Grazine, her Exorcism is about to wear off. She'll be up at full health, and now the Witch Doctor Death Ward. It's not channeled for the full duration, but still does a heap of damage to Dichira as well as to J4. Slark is dropping low, but GG well played. It's called out by Cheshire Cat. They can do nothing. Multicast 3 times onto Grazine, and it just doesn't matter. This series is going to be 1-for-1, and mYinsanity proving that they do have what it takes to take down Power Rangers.
Just a much more solid game than game number 1. They held on. They didn't get the biggest of leads early on, but they didn't really need to just because they had the huge cores. And like you said, they got the critical mass and just rolled on from there. But guys, this concludes this series. 1-1, the end result for it. mYinsanity, I think it was the first win overall in this group for them. So at least something positive, maybe it can carry the momentum on for the next games. And this time around, Mitch, the guy with no deaths, 17-0-7 on the Faceless Void. Excellent stuff coming out from him. We do have still more Dota. HeflaTV HP1 is casting Denial versus Aftershock at the moment. And after that game ends, we're gonna have mYinsanity versus Aftershock on this channel, Power Rangers versus Denial on the other channel. So more Dota to come, guys. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and if you like the cast, be sure to follow HeflaTV on our social media to know when we're going live, with what games, on what channels, and whatsoever, so on. And yeah, guys, just once again, I appreciate it that you came, and see you for the next series in hopefully around 20 minutes time.